Hey, we got Drewz Viewz here, and I'm back for a little Anime Monday, reacting to that anime on Monday. Today I'm doing Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 20. I believe it was called That Day. They said it at the end of last episode 19. The basement. We finally got into that famed, fabled basement. Eren went down there with Mikasa and Levi and Hanji, Armin, the new Titan, and the rest of the survivors, which was very few, stayed up on the wall, but they went in the basement. They located something from a secret compartment. It's like a journal, basically, sort of thing, it looked like. And apparently they're learning that information now. We're learning it through flashback. The troops showed up at the end and back in the city at the end of the episode. We didn't really see anything in between, assuming they just came back, but we didn't see what they learned from the book. But now, at the end of the episode, they had a flashback to Dr. Jaeger, Grisha as a child with a sister and a mom and everything. We don't know how much time has passed. I was speculating a little bit. Could be super long ago if he had turned into a Titan, and that kept him alive, in the way of Ymir or something like that. We don't know. Obviously, we don't know anything about his family nowadays. When last we saw from his flashback, previous to the last episode, was from the other commander, telling them how he showed up with seemingly no memory from outside the wall. Now we're inside a different wall in this flashback. It seems like kind of like a World War II vibe, like there's people keeping watch, there's things up on the walls. But there's more technology. There's like a Zeppelin or an airship, more technology than they seem to have in present day. So it seems like technology was lost. We don't know if the Titans are a threat at this point, though, when he's a kid, or if it's some other humans they're going, that they're looking out for or whatever. But I don't know if we'll find out more this time. It's going to be a whole flashback. I'm getting the sense that it might be, but we'll see. And he ran out with his sister. He ran out the gate last time past the guard, so I'm going to prepare to see what happens with that. Let's do it. Alright, so there's a car as well. Looks like. Yeah, with his newsboy hat and everything, and it's definitely like a 30s kind of vibe. Eldians. Okay. So are the Eldians being kept within that other perimeter? Internment zone. So they're going through the gate to a city, okay. Hope nothing bad happens to her right now. Well, I messed up now, Grisha.
ついていることが分かった。彼らは仕事をサボって河原で寝てたのだ。忙しかったわけがない。
He probably killed her.
それ以上に自分の愚かさを。
今から1820年前、我々の祖先ユミの秘密は大地の悪魔と契約し、巨人して大国マーレを滅ぼし、この大陸の支配者となる。が約1700年続いた。だが、かつての大国マーレは増長を極めたエルディアに内部工作を挑み。
It's quite a lore drop here if this is all true.
当時のエルディアの王はこのパラディ島に30の
父親にしては饒舌だった。ご主人様の言いつけを守り。
この建物は壁が薄い。きっとあの男がベイを。黙れ！そんなに父さんと母さんと楽園に行きたいのか。いけないことだ。我々にできることはこの収容区でただつつましく生きること。
I guess they've completely accepted it.
間違っているのはどちらだろうか。おそらくは 両方だろう。何の考えもなく父の診療所を継ごうとしていたと。
Little time skip.
この切り傷はどうしました？これは同胞。そんなことが。妹の事件の真相を知ったとき、心に誓った。本当の悪魔はどちらか。
Jesus.
エルディアを復活させなくてはならない。者はフクロウと呼ばれ、姿を見せることなく復権派を導いた。目覚め、荒れ地を耕し、道を作り、王家には橋を架けた。人々。
I wonder if the Ymir we know, was she always named that, or did the people that gave her the power give her that name? I can't remember.
私はダイナ・フリッツと申します。王家の血を引く者です。
女は大陸に存在する王家の末裔の最後の一人であり、王家だけが持つ巨人の情報を復権派にもたらした。ないない。王が壁の中に持ち去った始祖の巨人。
脳は巨人対戦時、大陸内の力の均衡を保つという役目を放棄し、辺境の島に都を移したの。
の民のために大陸に踏みとどまった真の王家に始祖の巨人をお納めするのだ。
Did Grisha start like the conflict of the Titans that's currently going on in modern day?
翌年、私たちは結婚し、男子を授かった。名はジーク。
Alright. I'm assuming that's the Beast Titan then.
人は変わる。
And he is blind,
世
yeah.
の中が急速に発展してゆく頃。
Okay, that's very interesting. So Aaron and Beast Titan are brothers, I guess, or half brothers.
フクロウからの情報によると、7つの巨人の力が絶対でなくなる日は近い。莫大な化石燃料を埋蔵するパラディ島は強行されてしまう。そうなったらもう永久にエルディオは日の目を見れないぞ。いや、手段は残されている。我々の息子ジークをマーレの戦士にするのだ。
He's playing with the monkey there.
あなたが晴らすのよ。わかった。
Yeah, but Zeke seems to hate his father now.
親が子を自らの思想に染め上げる罪深さ。
But he probably thinks they abandoned him as well.
血を引く子でも何にせよ、ジークは自らと祖父祖母の安全を選んだ。愚かな両親を
Oh, really?
政府に差し出す。
Well, this is quite an episode so far. We're getting all the information. I feel like I might have missed a couple of things there since as soon as I heard about the Zeke part of it, but wow. So this is like what happened with Ymir. He's gonna get injected and tossed off. That's the guy. Oh, it's that the other guy. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, not much you can say at this point. That's the other guy. Grace and Grisha, pretty similar names.
こうしておくとこれから生み出す巨人どもがあいつに惹かれてさっさといなくなる。間違いない。妹を殺した当局の男。
You're in trouble, Grisha.
いやまだ尋問したいことがある。
I wonder if he's gonna let him free.
女か。もったいねえ。あなた。
なぜここに？俺は洗いざらい全部話したぞ。
さっさと巨人にして黙らせろよ。
グリシャ、私は。落ち着いて。ここは懲罰。
Was Aaron having all those memories from his dad?
兵器違反のお勤め中だよ。泣いてるの。
She looks weird. So does he know that Zeke's his brother now? Did she turn into the smiling Titan? I was about to say, I wonder if that's gonna be it. I think it is, right? That's crazy.
お前だろう15年前8歳の妹を犬に食わせたのはお前だ。
少年、お前は巨人にしないでやる。3、4メートルくらいの巨人に調整するからこいつと戦ってくれ。
So they can even decide how big the Titans they make with this.
とでも言うのか。
Well, if he gets enjoyment of people getting eaten by dogs, it would follow.
面白いからだ。感じて生きる。それが生き物の正常な思考なのだよ。俺はその日を受け入れる心が。
I have a feeling it might come today.
こうやって残酷な世界というか。まあ言いたいことはわかる。もし息子が同じ目にあったらと思うと胸が締め付けられる。液を体内に吸収しただけで巨大な化け物になる。お前らエルディア人をこの世から一匹残らず、お前ら復権派は俺たちマーレに何をしようとした。心は痛まなかったのか。
嘘だ。俺は真実を知っている。始祖ユミルは大陸の人々を豊かで。
なあ、わかったよ。偉大な歴史。
Huh? That's curtains for you.
あんた。
俺がフクロウだ。
Oh, okay.
覚えておけよグリシャ。使う。
He's Titan. Well, all right. We definitely got a ton of information just now. It's probably gonna be tough for me to get all of it down here in the recap. I just feel like I need to watch it again or something, but let me try to do a little bit here, see what we know now. They're called, all right, so first of all, Eren was kind of dreaming that, or I guess experiencing his father's memories. I thought it might be all flashback, which it mostly was, but there was a little bit in the present there, and Mikasa are actually serving their time for insubordination, as Hanji said they would last time, but... Alright, so my theory about it being, you know, maybe a lot of time passed, that doesn't seem to be accurate. Because we saw Zeke being born, and he's like, I don't know, maybe like 30 now or something. Who knows how old he is, but he's an adult, but he's not like super old or anything. And obviously Grisha was, you know, I don't know, like an older, middle-aged or whatever when Eren's born, or growing up. So they're called Eldians. They had the Titan power from the past. I'd also maybe theorize that humans created the Titans as some type of weapon. Doesn't necessarily, I mean, that could still be the case even further back in time, but as of what we know from this, it seems like they're like just, yeah, kind of like a separate race. There's this whole thing about their founder, Ymir, which again, that's interesting, that name. Maybe Ymir was named that because she was just found as like an orphan or whatever. Maybe she didn't even have a name, and the people that ultimately cast her up the wall maybe named her that then based on some ancient history. That would make sense. And then at the end, yeah, Grisha was saying something about it's like not what you think they really... I don't know, there's something about like what the Eldians really did based on what history is saying they did. And that's why they have to be persecuted. My Marley is the name of this country, then persecuting them. Also, so that's a separate continent. And the island, I assume that island they're talking about is where, you know, where we are now on Attack on Titan, you know, where Eren and everyone lives. So that's interesting as well. And then connecting all these other dots here. So Eren, or rather Grisha married, well, I guess he's a doctor because his father was too and he learned it from that. So that's where I get that skill. We didn't see what happened to his parents, but I guess they're still around there. And by the time this episode ended, or who knows what happened, they died, whatever. Obviously the sister died a grisly death, being eaten by dogs. They're in like not a concentration camp, but they're sequestered into a different part of the city. That's what the deal was there. Obviously set up earlier in the episode with the one guy who we kind of saw he wasn't such a bad guy. he did administer the punishment beating up Grisha, but then he like was like, oh, you can go see the ship, whatever. I had nothing to do with the sister. And then that pays through at the end there with him being the informant the whole time and being a Titan himself. So the Eldians are Titans, or have it in their ancestry. They're capable of being able to turn into it. So does that mean, and then some split of the Eldians went to that island, which is where the story is now. So I guess does that mean anyone that lives there now can potentially be a Titan? I guess it seems like they can. Obviously, Armin got that last episode. Or, you know, is that now anyone? They're all ancestors of Eld, I guess. But the people from Marley can't do that, I guess. But then why are some... Yeah, some just have the powers and some don't. We don't see why that's the case. I mean, the owl at the end obviously had powers of sentience. Zeke obviously does. Grisha does, you know, and passed it on. All this, so we don't know. Unless I missed it, which is quite possible. We don't necessarily know how that happens. When they're, or why they just turned into the mindless ones like the ones we saw getting thrown off there. Well, I mean, there really was a ton of stuff this episode, because then also, all right, so he marries and has the Zeke with one of the heirs to the throne, or one of the ancestors to the royalty, who then, it seemed like, and I was gonna say it too, I was starting to say it when I was like gonna maybe throw it in at the end of the episode as a theory, but then it seemed like it was confirmed right there that she seemed to turn into the Smiling Titan. I've called him the Tom Petty Titan in the past because he looks like that kind of, but that's crazy if that was her. She then ended up eating Grisha's next wife and Aaron's mother, Zeke's mother. That was, if that is the case. It seemed like they showed it and that was her. So that's wild as hell. Like, did she know what she was doing? Doesn't seem like they have no sentience. It seems like just a cruel twist of fate, irony. So it also seems like they just turn into, because from the beginning of the show, it seems like the Titans are all male kind of seeming, or obviously they're not male or female technically, but they all kind of look more like men than women. It was even calling it like the female Titan. But it seems like they all the non-sentient ones just turn into the more male-looking ones, and then you only have a female appearance if you have the special powers, or you're a Titan shifter like Annie, maybe. That's kind of a more minor point, but I was thinking about that. So we don't know, alright, yeah, like I said, I probably missed a bunch of stuff here. I won't be able to recap all of it, but we don't know what happens to Grisha after this. Did he really lose his memory? Like, it seemed like he did. Obviously couldn't have completely lost it because he still had all these plans with Aaron in the basement and everything. So I guess he was mainly faking that, was infiltrating. Now why is Zeke against him as well? Obviously Zeke turned him, his parents in back in the day here as a kid because they were putting too much pressure on him. Obviously that was probably a mistake on their part, as Grisha admitted to it in this episode, but how does he... But he still hates his dad after this and is going after them, so... It's interesting to see where the factions are, because it seems like from this episode it's the nation of Marley against Eld. Did Marley get overthrown by like Zeke or some of these other Titans then, since they are coming from there, it would seem? But they're trying to kill the people in the walls, which are, again, we've learned now, are their own people, it seems like. So what's the disconnect there? Why do they think they have to all die in there? And they even had a mention of the Titans in the walls. I guess originally the Eldians that fled to this island had the Titans in the walls to threaten Marley or whoever else they would send those after them. But wow, yeah, I mean, like I said, might need to watch this one again. Wow, they're really giving us the answers this season. I love it. Only 4 episodes left, I believe, if it's another 12 episode half season here, or 24 total in season 3. So I don't know what else we could learn. Well, a couple of things, like things I just talked about, some of the pieces in between what happened at the end of this and the start of the series. There's still some pieces to be filled in, but yeah, so Beast Titan and Aaron are half brothers, which is, yeah, I mean, that's why, yeah, even he was mentioning about his father to him when they had their brief interaction, so obviously that's gonna come back up. Yeah, wow, quite an episode. Even more, I mean, last one was called The Basement and we got a little bit more info, but this is the real, this was the real one right here, giving us that info. really shrinking the world a little bit for us, expanding it in some ways, but shrinking it so we know a little bit more what's going on. And maybe it seems like the ocean isn't that far for our boy Armin here. So if they really are on an island here, wow. All right, well, feel free to leave some comments below. Subscribe to the channel here if you like these and you're not already. Join me back for next Anime Monday with Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 21, when who knows what crazy will be revealed then. Until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.